I think what Nick has shown us is what is one of the really good things about Birmingham, and that's creative minds, creative industries, the whole of the media and the digital agenda. And Nick has given us some examples of that. He rightly said that the old council webpage was a bit Stalinist, not terribly reactive. Coming for a degree of criticism over it because we did spend some money on it, because it was completely redesigned. 87,000 pages do not happen overnight, unfortunately. And that is the size of the agenda that we were tackling, to try and get a product that was responsive and that could be used not just for information, but to engage with people for a number of initiatives that are coming along, not least our Customer First programme, which is based upon the whole of the web design. It's going to be interactive. And so to get it right was very important. But I don't mind being held to account in the way that Nick has explained. I think that starting off with the big city plan site, yes, it was a tomb in its own right, and it was full of regen speak, and for Nick and his colleagues to put it into plain English was great. But it shows, I think, how we can cooperate across the whole of the governance system to make it more responsive to citizens' needs.
Charlie, do you think government can change like that? Do you think it could? Is it the job of government to create open structures, or is it always going to be the outsiders that hold you to account?
Realistically, it's always going to be the outsiders. And it's interesting, there's a kind of mindset thing here. First of all, a lot of public officials seem to believe that their job is to kind of keep information and not sort of share it. It gives a sort of certain sense of power and influence and authority. And I think the more one can break down those barriers with this kind of social networking, investigation, how do I find this out? And the more that particularly city councillors get engaged and then say, oh, well, that's a good question. I'll go and ask the officers about that, find the answer. Or indeed, officers take the initiative and do that. I think the more you can, as you say, reduce this friction that exists. And I have to say, as a candidate, or indeed if I was elected and became a Member of Parliament, I don't think if I was an elected official, I'd see my job as kind of being on the side of government. And even if I was a government minister, I don't think I'd see my job as being on the side of government. Whether you're a Member of Parliament or indeed a minister, I think a lot of the role is actually about holding to account the system. In effect, what I'm saying is my mindset is that I believe myself as more an agent of ordinary people, not an agent of the system. And I think that is the right mindset, because you're then constantly questioning why things happen, why things cannot happen better, and how people's lives could be improved. I think that's the healthy way of doing it. I think the internet and all these things, the news sites and social networking sites, really help in that process. They help people like me, at any rate, and they don't help the information hoarders.
Emily, do you think do you think people will be satisfied with that kind of approach?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I particularly find, I just say, particularly interesting about your investigative side is that I know myself and my friends, the worst possible feeling is feeling powerless when you think that something is either you can't get the information you want, as it is in the case, or you think something's not right, and you feel like you don't have the power to take it into your own account or to get the information out there, because everyone knows now that information is power, unlike ever before. So I think this kind of thing is fantastic in trying to help people feel like they can not only take power to account, but try and get all the information that they need, because there is nothing more corrosive to trust in public officials from any level, and whether it's information you're trying to get from your city council, for example, in many people's mind, they will then tar the whole system with the same brush of powerlessness, and it's very, very corrosive. So that I'm so pleased that there is people taking it, in their own hands to do that.
I mean, I think what's interesting is the sort of people who use these sites, and it's quite difficult to picture who they are. I think they probably have one thing in common, and that's they're suffering from civic indigestion. And it doesn't matter what age you are, what colour you are, we all know that feeling, that sort of dyspepsia that means we know there's something wrong, but we don't have the power to do anything about it, and the media doesn't seem that interested in what I'm interested in. So give me the tools, and I will keep working at it until that indigestion goes away. So these sort of things are the Gaviscon of civic indigestion.